What is going on, everybody? Had to reconnect a bunch of things. So before I get started, I wanted to make sure everyone could actually see me and hear me on the video. So if somebody can throw me a 5x5 fancy intro, ooh, Marco. Uh, yeah, I had the bougie stuff going on today. Hope thank you, Lucky. I appreciate that. I hope everyone's doing well today. Didn't have any specific topics I wanted to cover, but well, there were a few I wanted to touch base with. But before we do that, let's go say hola to everybody in the chat. And Mr. Morgan, you get the first place prize for being an awesome dude. Tony, hello, hello. Uh, Senor Marco, how are you today, sir? It's good to see you. KP Heathen, um, the Virginia Bushcrafter, welcome and thank you for joining me. The Daryl, hello, and Mimi. I missed someone here. I saw Lucky in there. There's Lucky, hello. And yeah, this is a little bit earlier. Normally on a Thursday, I'll do a technical video a little bit later. I hadn't jumped on the live stream for a bit, and so I just figured I'd come on and see how everyone was doing. Uh, I gotta tell you that this has been a really, I should have done the Prepper X Files intro that I've done in the past, because this has been a really bizarre week or two actually for just weirdness, like weird stuff. Uh, so they did find, I don't know if you all have heard, they did indeed find the submarine that had gone into looking for the, or to go explore the Titanic. And they yeah, they found the, apparently, oh God, Lucky, yes. Okay, so I'm doing an experiment right now. You guys will see the video later. The experiment is right now in my backyard. At this point, it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It is 109 per my truck. My Apple Watch says it is 103, but I know it's hotter than that because you factor in humidity and the asphalt coming up. So yes, it is super freaking hot out here. This is the kind of heat that will make people go to the hospital if it doesn't outright kill you. Um, so you got to be really careful. So there's your safety topic. Thank you, Lucky, for today. Is make sure you hydrate and don't drink a bunch of Red Bull. Red Bull, the energy drinks actually are worse than having water with like an occasional Gatorade or occasional Kool-Aid or something, or even a soda, uh, but mainly water. The energy drinks are actually diuretics. It will make you pee out, but it will not help you hold liquids. So no, actually, hey, J3, welcome, welcome. And yeah, we'll be hot. Boo, what's going on? 92 here. We're 109. Thunderstorms aren't a bust this weekend. Well, yes, caffeine in general is a diuretic. That's absolutely right. So, like drinking a lot of coffee may not help. Actually, Tony, that's actually the first topic I wanted to cover. And I'm trying to find the video I saw where somebody, let me see if I can get a picture of that goofy thing. So, yeah, this is, let me see if I can get this picture up here. Hang on just a second. I like energy drinks for breakfast. Okay, so yeah, they did believe they're dead from a catastrophic failure. I'm trying to find a picture of the stupid submarine because I want to point out a few things. Talk about an engineering error, or an engineering fail. I'm trying to see if let's see if I can get this stupid picture up here. Okay, so this is not a great picture of it, but it's close enough. And of all places, it's from freaking TMZ. So y'all don't shoot me for that one. Yeah, here we go. So there's no audio to this. It's just a stupid submarine. Let me see if that guy will come up here. And it's thinking about it. I think I got too many windows open, and I have offended the computer. Can you guys see? Oh, there it is finally. Okay, so this is a side picture of the Ocean Gate submarine, and this is the Navy sending a God. This TMZ is terrible. What an idiot website. Anyway, if you're in the States forecast for the stream, he's also make sure you're ready for power. Yes, and if you have your jackeries or generator, I normally test my gas generator once a month or every few weeks. Just turn it on, leave it running for 5-10 minutes, stow it away. I think I got too many things going at once. So, so here's what I read from a few other articles. So you see this design, right? It looks cool. So this is metal. This is not metal, apparently. The body portion is stupid Mickey Mouse advertisement. The body portion of this, let me see if I can. And so this was like some kind of hybrid composite material. When you got into this stupid thing, it actually had like 15 bolts around it, so you could not get out from the inside. Like it wasn't like a normal submarine you would see in the Navy where you have the ability to open a hatch from the inside. Now, granted, 3 miles down, you're not opening anything because you'll die. But apparently, from what I'm reading on this, they were both exactly. They were bolted in from the outside. Hey, Dupsy Daisy, welcome, and Yardbirds, hello. Um, Wait, I missed it. If I missed anyone here, no, I did say hi to Boo. Um, they're bolted in from the outside. So even if they found them, let's say they had just had a failure and was sitting at the bottom of the ocean, they would rescue device to the stupid sub to pull them out the way you would a military sub. There was no way to do that. So they would have had to extract the hull as a whole. Um, Not only that, so the controller was apparently an Xbox controller. I kid you not. They had wired an Xbox controller or PlayStation controller as the controller for this device, for this vehicle. So somebody in 2021 had gone into the submarine to do the same dive, and they said that the entire round trip took 11 hours, 10 and a half hours. It was a 3 hour descent where the guy said you basically dropped like a rock. He said you could feel it in your body and you just, um, there were no chairs. So basically, you're in that tube of toothpaste and everyone was sitting Indian style on the floor. Hey, Mad Shad, what is going on? Correct. It's a titanium composite. It was a metal composite. Okay, titanium makes sense because it's light. Um, Tested good advice. I test my solar generator and it fried. Oh no. Yes. So they did have an Xbox controller or PlayStation, some kind of video game controller was controlling the entire thing. The interior lights were the lights you would use in a shed, like the little LED lights that you put on the top of your shed so you don't trip on your toolbox. It was when this guy who went in 2021 came back, he said he signed a bunch of documents and waivers stating in multiple places death, dismemberment, illness from decompression, et cetera, were all possible outcomes of going to see this damn Titanic. And yeah, the round trip was 10 and a half hours. So a colleague of mine had indicated that, because I said 10 and a half hours, and what if you had to pee? Like how did that work? And so apparently there was a pot. There was a device of some type that was basically a portable potty that you would pee in there. And that's basically you just figured it out for 10 and a half hours. So I don't know about that. That sounds awful. That does not sound like, that sounds like torture. That doesn't sound like an exciting adventure. But they're indicating, according to this, the Titanic bound submersible that went missing suffered a catastrophic implosion, killing everyone on board, according to Coast Guard Rear Admiral John Marger. A remotely operated vehicle found the tail cone of the Titan 1,600 feet away from the bow of the Titanic itself. Um, and then they found the upper section a little bit closer. So more than likely, it probably was going down and failed and went boom. And you think about it, right? That's God. I could do the math. Let me see. It's God. Well, I got to go find the calculation for what would the pressure be at 12,000 foot depth. Let me see if they 380 times sea level. So you think if that thing imploded and the tail cone came off, you saw the way it was shaped. It was shaped like a weird tube of toothpaste. The tail cone blew off, which means it basically went boom, and then the impact of all those panels hitting each other blew them apart. And if they were still on the descent, 4,000 psi, yeah, it would just spiral. Thank you, Mad Shad. Down to the seafloor. Hey, farmer, what's going on? Moon Sprout, hello, hello. That's what they're thinking. So they did find the tail section about 1,600 feet from uh, from the bow of the Titanic. So they imploded like right over the shipwreck, and the pieces just went everywhere. So on the one hand, it was probably a very quick incident. They weren't sitting down; they were suffering and pondering their life decisions. It was and gone. But yeah, it obliterated them. KP, absolutely. Um, Not high on my list of things to do in life, And you'd think with that much money, I would design like the most badass remote sub, and I would charge people 50 grand and say, okay, we're going to descend to the shipwreck, and you can record your own data. You control all the cameras, and the pilot controls the submersible, and I'll stay on the surface. And that way, if I lose the damn submarine down there, I'll go find it later and collect it. The sub had no GPS. Apparently, they were relaying information by text messages using Starlink. I don't know how that worked. Um, hey, Magic, what's going on? So, yes, it was 250K a seat. And yeah, I don't know, guys. I just don't have a desire to go and be squished in the ocean. Like, that's not high on my list of ways to go. Uh, but yeah, it's been that was really a weird deal. Like, why would they go down there with a submarine that had no safety features? It had no additional communications. It was just no, and that's right. So Starlink cannot be used in the water. So I don't know. They said in the article they're using Starlink. Starlink is a satellite. So really, what were they communicating with? How would a text message work? They must have been using some subsea communication that only conveyed text. So that means they didn't even have voice communications like you would between two submarines in the military. So yeah, I can't explain how and Shad, to the point, they didn't even have a GPS on the machine in the sub. So yeah, unfortunately, they did find pieces of the sub, and from what they're finding, it clearly looks like the thing imploded. Yeah, you'd think a cable or something. Even if not a cable, certainly. And 13,000 foot of cable is not much because we have oil field units out here that easily carry 30,000 foot of coated steel cable with conductors running through it. So it would have been like a long umbilical. So that more than definitely could have been done because we have the technology right here in Texas. They'd need to modify it for that application. So yeah, it's I don't know, guys. That's just weird. Is It's unfortunate that these people died, but man, I would not want to be in there. Like, could you imagine if they had actually gotten stuck at the bottom of the ocean? That would be terrible. Like, what a neither way is a good way to go. So anyway, they did find the submarine, and yeah, basically that's exactly it, Mimi. Stupid games, stupid prizes. Um, One of my coworkers said it is extremely rich people mental disease, and I started laughing. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Because nobody who works for a living would spend any money to go in that tin can to where they could get crushed." He said, "That's people who have more money than sense," and I can't disagree. Hey, Lee, possibly if there was one in the area close enough to pick it up. Yeah, that's got to be it. Dummy cord that thing. Hey, Devil Dog, what's going on? Complacency. It is kind of funny. They never thought that thing would sink, but lo and behold, yep. Uh, Supposedly, yeah. Although they did say that they were on that radio phone, the capsule had to be turned a certain direction, and they would say something, and like 8 minutes later, they'd get a response. So that was not rich complacency. Yeah. Uh, Yeah, I'll tell you what, they may have Darwin Award. I wouldn't even have gone in that thing. I don't, that little submarine looked like something more that you'd use offshore Florida, where it's like 200 feet deep, to look for old wrecked Spanish galleons and gold. Put the little claws on it and you just dig around the sand. And then that way, if something happens, you pop the thing and it goes bloop to the surface because from that depth, there's no bloop. Um, it just kabooms and that's the end of that. So, hey, Jason, welcome, welcome. So, yeah, that's sad and unfortunate, but at the same time, uh, really, really bizarre that these things are happening, or people would participate in that and be shocked that they got a negative outcome. The families, like, where were the families? Wouldn't the families be like, "That's not a good idea"? Or are you insane? Hey, independent. So, right now, apparently, now moving on to another subject, apparently, the House of Representative attempted to do a impeachment vote on the president, but did not tell House leadership that they were doing it. And I'm trying to find that article because here it is. Okay, this one's over at MSN. Let me see if I can get this nonsense up and running. So bear with me just a second here while I argue with this nonsense. Uh, okay, so let's share that screen. We rode the Atlantis submarine when we visited Cozumel Island. See, and that's not super deep when you think about it. Let's see, share screen here. Do. All right, so Republican-controlled House voted Thursday to send a resolution to impeach the president to a pair of committees, delaying a vote that has created massive headaches for Speaker McCarthy. The 219 to 208 party line vote that barely made it through came after Representative Lauren Boebert, a conservative hardliner, huddled with McCarthy on Wednesday and agreed to forego her push to force an impeachment vote this week. Uh, Boebert's resolution was privileged, meaning it would have had to receive a floor vote within days without a deal with leadership. referring to the matter to two committees, Homeland Security and Judiciary. Republicans headed off a hasty impeachment vote that likely would have failed on the floor and exposed divisions. Uh, so basically, a group of the reps decided that they were going to try to impeach. Bacon is sourced from Texas Fero Pig. No, that's actually barbacoa or chorizo, not the bacon. Too rough. You need to saute it more. I rode the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride at Disney ones and the Jaws ride. No, it just splashes a lot of water. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's Watchmen. That's like an understatement right now. So basically, Boebert tried to force a vote to impeach Biden, but nobody had read the impeachment paper, so they agreed to kick it to the committees to review it. And part of that is motivated by the fact that Hunter Biden just took a plea deal. Yet there's a rapper in LA, I forgot what his name is, who did the exact same thing, same charge, roughly the same amount of money. He got 3 years in jail and 3 years probation, and Hunter's getting a parole. So even that rapper's like, oh, so there's a dual justice system where, you have, if you know the president, you can get away with stuff. Even this Mississippi geezer has had chorizo, good stuff. Oh yeah, artificial meat legalized today. Yeah, no, most definitely. With beef bacon. Uh, yeah, it is lucky. Exactly. That's a perfectly good way to put it. It is good to be king. Now the question is, no, he did not have the big guy on his side. And hey, my mother Spark, welcome. And the question is, and then this is something I guess all of us can need to think about is, will this allow other agencies to now, or anyone to say, well, wait a minute, if he pleaded guilty, like he pleaded guilty to evading taxes, and they're dropping the subject and nobody's having the conversation, where did he get the money from which to pay the taxes in the first place? I know, are you guys tracking me? Like, okay, he owed 10,000, 100,000 in back taxes. Whoop de frickin' do. Where did the millions come from such that he owed 100 grand in taxes? Like, are we not having that conversation? And it appears that's what they tried to force in the House, was to uh, basically bring it to the floor, but they wanted to go through the committees first, which is smart, because if they do an impeachment without going through the committees, technically the Senate can claim a mistrial if it goes to the Senate trial, because procedure wasn't followed. So, but Boebert did. She managed to get it into the committee. She forced it. Um, Now, whether this may hurt her or help her later on, anybody's guess. I don't normally. She's not our state rep, but even so, it's interesting to kind of see how this played out. So I'm curious. I'm really curious to see if they are going to continue to investigate Hunter. And the question is, can one of the states go after him? Can, say, for instance, I don't know, the state of Texas or Oklahoma or someone say, you know what, he lived in our state and he didn't pay taxes, so we're going to investigate him at the state level, which he would still be fair game. And they can use the fact that he pled guilty to a federal charge of tax evasion as the basis for the investigation from the state. So, uh, oh yeah, and now we have millions, if not billions of dollars going to that country to protect them from the Russians, who are trying to basically stomp the country. So, there's, if anyone in this chat, including myself, if we had done any of the things this guy did, even with a good lawyer, we would probably be at least a year in a white collar prison, at least, more than likely a few years, and then the parole, et cetera, et cetera. So, hey, Ark, welcome. The fact that this guy got away with it just agitates me. It really annoys me because no one else no one else here would have gotten that treatment. And it's not even, this is a rich and powerful thing. This isn't a color thing or a culture thing or religion thing. The kid's connected, or the dude's connected. He's not a kid, he's freaking almost my age. um that just sucks. I think, who wants to test the waters and see? Yeah, gun charge alone is 10 years. uh you know what, they would irradiate their country. That would, if somebody in the Ukraine wants to do that, they've lost their mind. That would be that'd be pretty awful. I can't even imagine that. But so yeah, it's interesting. All the news this last week has been very weird. I already covered the aliens in Vegas. I have not seen an update on the Vegas aliens, and I'm kind of sad about that because I really would love to see if they had more footage. If you got time, what's the line? Depends. If they put him in the bougie white collar prison, he might just sit there and be quiet, but you never know. And also, they'd have to keep him in solitary because somebody would come after a person, high profile person like that. Like, people liked Martha Stewart because she was like, she would go talk to everybody, right? But this guy won't. He'll be all crooked and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this this dude got away with murder. Yeah, Amazon. So yeah, and he might sing, or even worse, they pass drugs around in prisons, right? So yeah, no kidding. The dogs do know what's up. They pass drugs around in prison. Who's to say another prisoner wouldn't get him some kind of drug, and then he'd get addicted in the prison, which happens, and then he'd flip out and start saying things. He could get a pencil. It is corgi alert. So he would be unalive. Um, Supposedly, Martha was doing classes for the inmates, resumes, and I don't know. That's why everyone liked her. So let's see. A new man who did time in the Lake Butler lockup in Florida. He was a low-level drug guy and a degree in agriculture. See, and that's not a bad gig though, if you think about it. I'm from Vegas. Yeah. Well, then that would be getting Epsteined in a different way than Epstein. Actually, I heard one radio station guy today swear up and down. He said, I don't think Epstein was Epstein. I think Epstein's body double got Epstein, and our friend is somewhere in another country. And I was like, ooh, but then the radio station got cut off and they went to commercial. And I'm like, you guys are awful. Uh, they enticed us and then they stopped. So, hey, no, I appreciate it. I mean, I know everyone's working. It's been busy. Everyone's been really tied up. Um, it's so here's the question: was our friend Epstein really him? Body double or something else? Let's throw that one in the chat. Let's see what you guys think. Um, so what do you think? Was our friend really him? Which I could see somebody's like, oh, he's going to spill the beans at some point. Was it a body double? This was this radio guy. He's saying they never showed his body public. Other heads of state die and they show that, but not him. Really curious. And then, or is it something else? Like, is it just straight up a lie? Isn't a body? No, oh, I meant something else. Did I put someone else? No, something else, Watchman. So something else, like it's all a lie, or he's an alien, or something like that. Whatever other hypothesis. Hey, Texas, what's going on? Going on? I think it was really him and Maxwell got the mess. Yeah, that would make sense too. And I'll bet you, right, at sea burial. For all we know, he could have been in pieces. I mean, nobody knows. Um, I don't care if it was him or not. No. Yeah, so just something to think about. And I guess now at this point, I don't trust half the crap the mainstream media. Like I have to get 4 or 5 sources on the same info before I trust what I'm seeing. But yeah, it's been weird. So a few other lessons, guys. Right now, we're already getting warnings. I don't know, Lucky, anyone else in Texas, Psychobilly, Lucky, and anyone else from Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, are you getting notices from your power companies about electrical usage with the heat? Put a yes or no, YN, whatever, in the chat. I'm barbecuing. Um, our temperatures will be in our part of Texas probably, yeah. Well, and Shad and I think we had chatted about this once before. Was look for trends, right? So if you see everybody has a story about like the submarine, right? Get 4 or 5 and then get a few fringy ones, right? Some weird stuff, and see if anyone can float something that might be a viable alternative to what the running story is. uh yeah, I know. And I mean, we can only do so much from where we are, but yes, I was, but not since the outage. No, we're starting to get them now in West Texas. The Panhandle's starting to get them, and somebody said New Mexico, parts of New Mexico and Arizona were getting them. Uh, so nothing yet. Send text email. Okay, and Lucky brings up a good thing. So to the topic of really severe heat, this is going to be the opposite effect of the Texas freeze that killed the grid. The extreme heat can kill the grid. The difference is in cold, you can put more layers of clothes on and try to stay warm. When it's 105 to 115 outside, you can only take so many clothes off to keep yourself cool, right? And then you have pets, animals, plants, whatever else you got to deal with. So if you haven't already, make sure you have water, not just for drinking and bottles, bottles or 5 gallons or whatever, but also for hygiene, sanitation, i.e., flushing, washing of hands, and other things like that. You want to be sure that you have what you need in the event you lose power, because with the power, the water plant may go down, right? They do normally have backups, but they may not, or they may fail. And if they do, you want to be able to have the option of having some kind of water, if nothing else, to wash your hands and face and for basic hygiene. Um, Actually, I probably need to use a bunch of baby wipes on poor Bentley when he got sick. So, because that's like the quickest way to clean a puppy, other than throwing them in the tub and giving them baths. So, how did we deal with the heat in Vegas? We stayed in. Right, but if the power goes out, then yeah, you're going to be SOL. Ideally, if I live closer to the middle of the state, I would have a selection of rivers in which to jump into. Out here, baby wipes. Yep. And also, you know what I did do? We did this on one camping trip. You know the igloos, the orange ones that are vertical and you have the little spout at the bottom? You usually use them for Gatorade and Kool-Aid at football games. Um, on one camp out, we actually had one called, they called it bleach, the bleach water. And it was a bleach water mix, and we used it for hygiene. So we tell the little boys, hey, before you go there and rinse your hands, and then use a paper towel and dry and get the dirt and the germs off. It's not perfect, but it's a decent way to clean up your hands. So have an 80-year-old house built before air conditioning. I pity those houses built with air. Yeah. And that's something we look for because we have a very well insulated newer home, but it does have big windows facing multiple directions. Yeah, and it's people in apartments, I can't even imagine 105 in an apartment and you lose the air conditioning. Like, because even if you have big windows, they're only facing one direction, so you may or may not get airflow. Uh, but yeah, hygiene's super important. And Lucky could probably speak to this, and so could Devil Dog. The five F's. What was it that make you sick? Food flies, fingers, feces, and face. Like the F's for hygiene, the basic F's. So something to think about. If power goes out, you may not be able to wash your hands. Uh, Alternative cooking options. Uh, it is prime weather for Legionnaires. That's true, Watchmen. You may want to be sure your flashlights are charged, your solar stuff is ready to go, the cables are still good. Hey, All American, welcome. Uh, so I'm fortunate, Mad Shad. My house actually faces north, and the yard faces south, and so I'm between two other houses. And so I don't get that ugly heat on the right side of my house as the sun's going down. Um, and I have spray insulation in my house, so it really makes a big difference in keeping the house cool. So yeah, um, something else to think about. Also, remember you're going to need water for pets, dogs and cats. Kids are going to spill water unless they're older, because any little kid is going to be careless and drop something. Um, Studio on West Side, mine. So yeah, yep. And actually, that's a good point. I have a swamp cooler, and I probably need to put a little bleach and water in there and run it through and get it cleaned up. But yeah, folks, the heat is not a joke. This stuff's hot, and actually, I'm doing an experiment right now involving a Kamal that is sitting on my fire pit in the sun now for 4 hours, and I'm going to see if I can cook something on that damn thing. So that's something. Hop in the car and run to our hotel. Well, yeah. And also, even if they do have power for whatever reason, everyone's going there, right? So that's not the original sun oven. It is, and it was actually a handmade one from Mexico that we got from my wife's aunt, and we lost it. And we lost this thing literally. It was traveling with us for 4 reloads, and we didn't even realize we still had it. And when I was breaking in all my new cast iron here, I don't know what the hell I was looking for, and I pulled this thing out, and it was starting to rust. And I'm like, holy crap, it's a cast iron Kamal. So I went and bought Brillo, and I went to work on it. It took me about an hour to get it to where I was ready to season it. And it is it is an odd. It sits on my oven on my stovetop now. Every morning I make something on it. Even if it's just heating up a little buttered toast. I'll throw it on there. I like it better than the damn toaster, but that's just me. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Devil Dog. Yeah, finger flies. Oh, is it fields, not face. Food flies, fingers, feces. I said face, but it's fields. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, man. See, we get old, we forget these things. But folks, factor in your hygiene, factor in your water. Um, what I would recommend, I hate doing laundry, but we're trying to do more small loads and make sure we don't have a bunch of dirty clothes. So we have clothes to change in and out of if the power goes down or if we just can't use the washer dryer. Um, I would also, if you have a solar generator like a Jackery, an EcoFlow, what's the other one, a Bluetti? Test them on your freezers, on your fridge, find out which devices it will work on and how long. So, like the Jackery, if you plug it in, it'll tell you what the power pull is, and it gives you an estimate of how long it will work. Remember, you don't need to have the freezer plugged in for 10 hours straight, right? You plug it in, let it run a cooling cycle. When it freezes everything and you hear the compressor turn off, you can disconnect that Jackery and either recharge it or move it to something else. And your freezer is probably going to be good for hours, if not half a day, if you don't mess with it. So, what I started doing, and I ran out of label, I had a label maker, was I was plugging different devices into the Jackeries because I have a small one and then the big one, and I'm leaving a label on the side of the machine, like the freezer, saying, okay, this takes 300 watt surge, 100 running, or 50 running, or something like that. And it's usually the surge that makes it difficult for the jackeries and the electrical stuff, because when the fridge kicks over, it pulls a bunch of juice, and then once it gets going, it comes back down. Oh, see, yeah, and it's not. Yeah, and you absolutely can. But if you do have a fridge and freezer, you can extend the life of that meat long enough for you to cook what you've had, so you don't lose. I feed, and I don't wash my hands before eating. Having cow patty fights. Actually, that's probably, cow patties are probably a lot less toxic than what comes out of humans, to be honest with you. Yeah. So, an emergency beard washing station. But yeah, check your stuff. Hey, Prepper Book Club, thanks for joining me. Yeah, check your stuff. Don't wait until the power does go out and then you're going, holy crap, what do I do with myself now? Check your gear now while stuff's still working. It's, you have everything. If you turn on your solar generator or your phone charger battery pack and it's not fully charged, plug it in right now so that it's ready for you later if you need it. If you don't, no harm, no foul. At least once a month, I have a thing goes off on my computer that says plug in stuff, is what it tells me. And I know what it means is I plug in both jackeries, make sure they're fully charged. I go and check my travel solar phone charger. I plug in speakers, I plug in radios, I plug in some USB flashlights I have. Most of them are already charged, but I plug them in, top them off, so to say, and then move on from there. Now's a great time because it's hurricane season and we got really bad heat. One of us, somebody in this chat, me or some of y'all, will take a beating from something, whether it's a tornado, a hurricane, a flood, a grid down because the heat was too much, whatever the case is. We actually have a picture of a traffic light in South Texas. And let me see if I can find it. It was posted by our state rep. Did it melt the traffic light? I'm trying to see. I can't find the picture now. But that, oh no, that's not here. It was one of those stupid janky plastic covered um, traffic lights, and the little covers melted into the light. So I can't find the picture. I saw it earlier. But in any case, folks, yeah. Yeah. And actually, speaking of that, when I'm done with this live stream, I'm going to run to the gas station, top off my truck. I'm just above half a tank now. I don't like it going under that. I'm going to top off the tank and, make sure that the vehicle is ready. I'm going to check the dog food, fill up the dog's water. And remember, folks, you don't need bottled water necessarily if you don't have 5-gallon jugs stored. You can use your doggone Kool-Aid pitchers, rinse them out real good, fill them with tap water. It may not taste great, it's not Avion, but it's still water. And make sure you hydrate properly. I had a generator before Katrina. Seawater destroys electrical. So, no, yeah, and if you're in a, oh yeah, so MMS. Apparently, she discovered that if you leave your Crocs in the car, they warp and shrink. So I guess if you want to amuse yourself, you can warp and shrink your Crocs. I probably need a pair of Crocs for my backyard. I don't think I've ever owned a pair. Honest to God, I've had Keens, those beach shoes you can hike with, but yeah. Yeah, depending on where you are, like Lee, if you're near the coast, yeah, you're gonna get salt water in there. The cars, the generators, everything is garbage, and then it rusts. So you're hosed at that point. And juice and tarps, yeah, and do what you can. Remember, stay on budget. A lot of this kind of stuff we're talking about, you can do very cheap, right? Yeah, that's another one, like the bathtubs, milk jugs. Um, you can be very creative with how you prep. And remember, preparedness isn't just for the zombie apocalypse. It's for those everyday things that happen: blackouts, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes. It doesn't have to be, the zombies, aliens, Cloverfield monster, whatever the hell that thing's called. Uh, just say no to Crocs. No, those would be yard shoes. Like, go and walk dog, come back in. I would not use them for anything else. I just I'd just bust my face open with those in there. Well, I was going to leaving Crocs in the car. That's funny. Not don't leave your kids or dogs in the car. Don't leave your Crocs in the car. That's important. Hey, Papa's Fall. What's going on? Hold on. Wait, I miss. So yeah, and Devil Dog, to your point, when you have really hot air and you have fronts of humidity hit the hot, dry air, the storms we get are ugly. We had one yesterday. I swore was going to kick off a tornado off in the distance. Like, you could see the trees doing this, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be ugly. I saw a guy and his girlfriend both wear pink Crocs for the same reason. Crocs just felt weird. The squishy feet, yeah. Um, okay, so oh, she beat me to it. Yes, the movie Idiocracy. All of the future people that were all running around, they're all the idiots. The shoes they were wearing was the first time Crocs appeared in a public video, if I'm correct. And Lucky's absolutely right. And after that, they took off. So we are becoming Idiocracy for real. Um, because you look at the way they were in the movie and you look at the people in the street and you're like, you've never seen that movie. Okay, MMS has homework. Upon returning home, you must find Idiocracy and watch it. I actually have the DVD because I still have those things in my collection here. Unfortunately, if I tried to live stream it, I'd get a copyright foul, so I can't do that. Even if I demonetized, no ads, nothing, they wouldn't let me do it. Idiocracy. Mad Chat is absolutely dead set against those Crocs. You need Digicam Crocs, man. That's what you need. But folks, look, now's a great time. It's getting hot. Check your gear. Hell, if you have a solar generator and the panels, go set it up outside. Set it up and look at the battery and see how much wattage it's putting in, because even though it's like a 60-watt panel, you never get all 60 watts. The best I've done is 45, which is pretty good, 75% efficiency. Set them up. And remember, if you do put your solar setup to charge, the battery pack itself may overheat. So that has to be in the shade while your panels are in the sun. So you got to factor that in. Um, and Farmer, no, you're absolutely right, because you have the Omega, what they call the Omega front. It's just the way the hot front shape over the farmland right now. I heard that from a meteorologist out here. That Omega shape is showing up right in the middle of the prime season for corn and soybeans and a few other things. So yeah, so this is actually something interesting, because that may, yeah, and that's one way to do it. But keep in mind, you still have the residual heat, so you may need to check it, make sure it's not overheating. But yeah, you could do that if you have no other choice. Hey, Wolfang, what's going on? Wolfang snuck in here somewhere. Oh, there he is. Hola, Wolf. But a few other people snuck in here. Wait, the Irishman pop in here? Okay, the whole chat jumped, and I have no idea who's in here. Oh, there it is. What's up, man? Uh, but check your gear now. Now's a perfect time to do that. Check it, equip. Um, Make sure the stuff you have in your car, if you're going to go for any kind of drive more than 20, 30, not even 20, 15, 20 minutes from the house, have extra water bottles in your vehicle in case you get stranded, so you can hydrate yourself while you're either waiting for a tow truck or walking somewhere. Uh, yeah, that's a good point. The heat will extreme heat and cold will affect the electrical circuits, not circus. So but check your gear. If you have it, pull out the panels, set them up, plug it into the Jackery or the EcoFlow, whatever you have, or Blue Eddy, and test it and just see what it looks like. I'm going to go check my backup gas tanks because I use them for my generator and my lawnmower. And I'm pretty sure at least one of them probably could be filled up right now. And also, if you do store your gasoline, I store it outside in the shed, which does get hot, obviously. Put stabilizer. The Stabil or stabilizer is cheap, and it doesn't take very much to stabilize 5 gallons. And that can save you a lot of grief. And also, in an emergency, you could throw that into your vehicle if you need to. Um, so actually, lucky after I stuck myself in the ER last year after a clay shoot in my own stupidity because I had too much water and not enough electrolyte. I actually keep Gatorade packs in my range bag. So when I go to clay shoots and I'm feeling kind of like I need a little more than water, I have one because they'll have water bottles out there. I can throw the electrolyte packets in there. And they take a while, even though they expire in like a year. I've used them past that because really it's just powdered sugar and some other stuff. So, but yeah, folks, now's a great time. Actually, it wouldn't electrical circus, good name for a blog. That's that guy that Indian engineer that every now and then he zaps the crap out of himself. I gotta find his videos. God, somebody sent me his link and I about died because as an engineer, I'm looking at what he's doing and I'm like, you just created a Gauss antenna, which Professor Gauss was the guy Faraday, i.e., the Faraday cage, based his science off of. Gauss was the first guy. And a Gauss antenna is basically that thing that goes, it's like a Tesla coil, right? Him and Tesla were these guys who played with electricity. And this guy just grabbed this, if things started tipping over, instead of grabbing the base, he grabbed the antenna and he just goes, "Dah." And then he goes straight down. And I'm like, oh, he's dead. And then he comes back and he's all messed up. So, yeah, a steam engine is what you need. Battery panels, upgrade gears, expensive. I don't know. You can definitely make steam out here. What's going on in the world and the inflation thing? Yeah, and and what all Americans talking about, what you use to prep for like a hurricane. 80% of it is the same stuff you'd use in a blackout or a riot or a hurricane, whatever. There's so many applications. A lot of the stuff that we buy can be used for multiple scenarios. So, pick what you need. And in the back of your mind, ask yourself, is what I'm buying this widget. Can I use this widget only for this, or can I use it for multiple situations? Yeah, we've had guys fall out at work because of that. Not this year. The guys are being smart this year. A Gauss gun. Um, the Watchman. Uh, yeah, but to all Americans' point, yeah, no, and make sure your basics are covered before you buy bougie stuff. Uh, but yeah, no, there you go. Food, water, shelter, and remember, if you have someone in the family, to Texas point, who may need like a CPAP or like diabetic or has a medical condition that they need a device, while you have a chance, charge your Jackery or whatever it is and plug the device into it and see how well it runs and how long, according to the machine display, how many hours of use you have, right? Because if someone needs that device to live or to sleep without having a major medical issue, hey, NYC, what's going on? Um, you want to be sure you find that out ahead of time and you factor that into your situation. I was being silly. Okay, I lost track of what's a gas gun. Fallout New Vegas. Okay, somebody told me that's an awesome game. Now I'm really curious if I have to go and get that. But yeah, it will get real. And All Americans, right? I got to get back with All American. We're trying to set up a live where we both have time to do it, um, and talk about a few things that have been happening in the streets. And I'm finally out of Instagram jail. So those of you who follow me on Instagram, I'm formally out of Instagram jail for posting a video about trafficking prevention. And I got shit canned for 2 weeks. They absolutely crushed my channel. So, um, yeah, Zuckerberg can bite me because he's a pendejo. But the little one is confined, and the big ones are probably passed out because they went out to pee and it was hot, and now they're uninterested in anything. Okay, see, that sounds fun. So, yeah, folks, today's the day, or today's a good day, if not today, this weekend. For those of you in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and parts of Oklahoma, we're looking at 115-ish a couple of days of this week. Check your gear now. Make sure it's charged. Cables look good. Connections fit. Do it now so you're not doing it hot, sweaty, dehydrated, and sick. That's so disgusting. Wait, I lost track. Something's disgusting, but I lost track of what it is. Um, the corgis are quiet. Okay, I'm not sure what something's disgusting, but I'm not sure if it's what it is. I lost track of. Anyway, yeah, independent. I don't know who is being discussed. um, but in any case, folks, now's a great time. While we're working, while we can still collaborate, and All American, you're probably right. We probably are. I just had to replace mine. That ran me 250, which was kind of painful. Um, good, good. Hey, no worries. No worries, MMS. I appreciate it. Will you be on this weekend? I know not tonight, but you may be on this weekend. So, yeah, keep an eye. Mad Shad will be on. You'll be on later. Oh, there goes Bentley. I think he's ready to go out and fight. He's still separated from the other dogs. So, ah, I got you. I totally had no context. I saw so many comments. I'm like, thank you. I'm running slow today. Yeah, it was upsetting because I literally I had over 1 million views on TikTok. I had thousands of views on YouTube, and Instagram crushed me. I mean, within hours of me posting those videos, absolutely crushed me. However, Instagram is also the company that is under investigation for having entire trafficking rings inside their platform. So I'm not saying it's a coincidence, but it's a coincidence. But in any case, folks, um, all chomos need not breathe the air, breathe my air. Uh, Never trust a raccoon. I have no idea what's going on. Never trust a raccoon. Um, God, my dad hit a raccoon in the butt with a log from a fireplace, a little log, because he was tearing up something. And my dad played baseball, so I mean, he had an accurate arm, and he was like a ninja star, and he hit up this little piece of stick with a little ember on it, and he caught the raccoon's ass cheek on fire, gave him a little ember burn, and he had little embers in his fur, and he was like, "Wee!" And he ran up the tree. And then my dad freaked out. He's like, "Oh shit, flaming raccoon! I just set the campsite on fire," but his butt went out. So, uh, oh God, I'll never forget that. My dad did some stuff. I'm surprised he, myself, and my brother survived our childhood collectively, because at least two of us should be dead right now from stuff we did. Anyway, hey, Vision, what's going on? Vision snuck in on me there. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Well, folks, like I said, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna agitate Instagram until they kick me off, and then I'm gonna come back again. I'll keep coming back until I get completely banned. Um, The only thing YouTube did was say, well, this is sensitive. It should be 18 and over, which I get because of the topic. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids can get trafficked too. So they need to see this. I had literally hundreds of people message me over the different platforms and say, I made my teenagers watch your videos just so that they understand what's going on out there. So, uh, but yeah, Charity helped raise a baby raccoon and nursed it. Oh, that's funny. Raccoons are fun. Numbering our names now in the video. They may be. That's right. They can all be chupacabras. But well, anyway, guys, yeah, I need to go and set the doggos out, and I will go see if I can actually make fajitas in a really hot cast iron that's been in 110-degree heat for 4.5 hours now. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys be good, be safe. Check your gear this weekend. Check it tonight if you can. Um, don't get caught flat-footed. At least check as much as you can while you can, folks. Until next time, God bless, Godspeed, and nominated to doing 8 p.m. That's not a bad idea, man. So our yeah, and go check out Texas is supposed to be. Hold on. All right, it won't let me. I'm trying to open your channel and it's like, nah, I don't feel like opening your channel. So okay. Anyway, I think let me see tonight. Vision Shad, Texas. This weekend, MMS, and there are a few other people who may be online. So keep your eyes out for the various people. I'm not sure what my schedule will be this weekend. I know my normal days are all screwed up now, so you guys be careful out there, and I will see you all. I will see you all on the next one. You guys be careful out there. Check your gear tonight if you can. I'll see you later.